Okay guys, so I'm going to show you how to, put these lobes on here onto your antenna. Here's one that I just did a repair on, but I did a video on it and it kind of rushed through the video, and so I'm doing another one for you guys. So this is a brand new one just from scratch. So the first thing I do is, when you cut the wire, it tends to be very soft and you end up doing this bit to it. So to clean it up, I always just use a razor and I just roll it on here on the table and until it cuts through to the feed wire. And it works better on the edge of the table, I guess, because you have more space to roll it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just rolling it and then pushing down, and so you get a nice clean cut. So I'm going to do that for the other side. So this one's went from scratch, so I have to attach the connector on here. But I guess just the word on that is when you solder this pin, there's a bump on here right at the end, and that needs to be right at the edge of the bottom of this insulator piece, the white piece. So I mean, that looks like it's going to fit right there. You would basically just adjust this length if it was too short. So to solder that on there, I mean, I just use a little bit of solder, not much at all, because it needs to be able to get pushed back in there. So just gonna add a little bitty amount, and then for this side I kind of tend to do it this way, where I hold the solder in the helping hands, and then I take this piece and then rotate it around as I apply the solder. Like that. It's hot. Okay, so then let it cool off a little bit. I'm going to attach or wrap it with, or put some heat shrink around it, and it's still hot, but basically this heat shrink is just barely big enough to fit on here. So it's not going to fit on the back end here, but I want it all the way down there. So what I'm going to do is take some hemostats, or you can use some scissors, and then basically open up the heat shrink. And I kind of rotate it around and push out on it so it gets wide enough. Make sure it's cool off before you try to put it on there, because then it'll shrink on you. So then just attach that there, so it goes all the way to the bottom. If you had some oversized heat shrink, it'll work. Just this is what I have, so I'm just shrinking it. So, okay, so then just clean off a little bit of the shielding so you can have something to work with. And I'm going to take off just a little bit more. Like that. So I'm going to trim this down probably about, I don't know, that looks like maybe about 1.5 millimeters. Trying to get it kind of close on there. And then the next step is just also attach or pre-solder, you know, the shielding here with some solder around it. So I'm just rotating the part as I go. And you want kind of a nice little blob, I guess, because it'll help to hold each lobe as you attach them. So, I'll show you if you can see that all the way around, and then just a little bit on the feed wire. Okay. So you have to do the same thing with each lobe, is attach or pre-tin them so that it'll make the process easier. So I'm going to try to do this all before my camera heats up and quits. So you pre-tin each one of them, and again you kind of want to leave a little small blob on there because that'll help just when you attach them. I'll come back and put epoxy on around it so it'll strengthen everything up, but just in the process of soldering it and getting each lobe on there, it helps if you've got a little blob on there that's a good amount. So that's 2. So I'm kind of working against the clock here on the camera. If I run out of time, I'm going to just split this video up into 2. So I'm making you watch this whole repetitive piece. You can always just fast forward, because not big into editing. Okay, so I got them. And as far as, I know a lot of people say they like certain soldering irons because they control temperature and all that stuff. I crank mine all the way up. So okay, so we pre-tin those pieces. Now I've bent them where they will fit on here with no stress, meaning when I place it on here, it's the right gap so that it hits the side and the feed wire. And that's really the trick. If you have any kind of bend where it's flexing, it's going to pop off when you solder it. Okay, so let's attach the first one. Okay, so I'm thinking here, we got 9 minutes in the video. I'm gonna stop it and start the video up again so that the camera doesn't overheat. Thanks guys.